Hi everyone. I was going to write a blog post about this, but I think I want to make a video just so that, it's just easier for me, I think, talking about this than typing it out. And also, I'm in a very busy season of life with Esther and with Ethan. And I'm so appreciative and so blessed to have 2 children when I was told that I would never have children at the age of 15. And if you've been around here for any amount of time, you know that pregnancy loss and infant loss is close to my heart, and spreading that and removing the stigma around it. And, I believe that the enemy that we have as Christians tries to keep us silent and tries to keep us isolated. And this is my way of breaking my own isolation. And it's my way of letting other people know that they're not alone. When you lose a baby, and I can only speak for myself, Hope, I believe we were, now that I've had a couple children and I know what it's like, and following the stages of pregnancy, I was probably around 3 or 4 weeks pregnant with Hope. And with the second miscarriage with Sarah, and I'll tell you in a second why I'm calling the baby Sarah, why I've decided to name the baby Sarah, is because when I lost the baby in 2016, she or he only grew to 6 weeks. And so by the time that we had an ultrasound, the baby had already gone. It was already gone. And it was so painful because I think one of the reasons was we had already had Ethan, and I knew how much I loved him. And I'd already dreamt of all the dreams you dream when you find out you're pregnant and you want a baby, and only to lose that. Last year I had just had Esther. So October is Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month, and I didn't do anything last October. Obviously, I was had just had a baby. I was recovering, and I just didn't feel, for me, it was the right time, because I really truly believe this is a very personal journey, and you have to heal and grieve the way that you feel like you need to heal and grieve, as long as you're healing and you're moving forward and not staying there. So that, because it's easy to get swallowed by grief and death. But I hold on to the promise of eternity with Jesus, and I believe that both of my babies are with Jesus, that they've only known love, and it hurt. And I don't have answers as to why these things happen. I have a sweet, precious friend that I met through the wonderful world of the internet, and she had a stillborn. And I can't imagine the pain that she has gone through, but she remembers her daughter so well. I'm so proud of her for that. And she has other children, and she had other children after losing her daughter. And having other children does not diminish your hurt or your love for the babies or the baby that you lost. And I've had questions about that. I've had questions about, well, do you think about your babies? Of course. This Mother's Day, sorry, I know this would be emotional. This Mother's Day was really hard, this past one. I don't know why this particular Mother's Day. I don't know if it's because, I really don't know. I wish I had an answer, but it just was. Grief's like that. It comes in waves, and it was particularly hard this year. And I felt like there was something missing. I missed the babies that I never was able to meet. So, I'm going to share with you why I decided to name the baby Sarah. when I found out I was pregnant, I was already planning on going on a women's retreat with our local church. And so I was at the women's retreat. We had a powerful service. I had experienced so much fear and anxiousness. It's like my body, like I knew something was wrong. I just didn't know what. And at the time, I had already had the ultrasound, and there was not a heartbeat, and they couldn't see a heartbeat. And they were like, well, you'll have to come back so we can recheck. I wish I had known more information about that. Had I known at that point, they should have seen a blip, even a heartbeat, something. They might not have been able to hear it, but there was nothing. So at that point, the baby was already gone. And so we just kept being positive, but I was so anxious and had so much fear, and I was praying after a service, and I fell asleep praying, and I woke up earlier than everybody, which is not like me. If you know me in real life, I like sleep, so I don't usually wake up early, but it was barely daylight outside, and I was praying, and I was singing worship, and I'm like, God, I'm feeling so much fear, and I need you. And I was quoting my scriptures that I always quote. I have a certain set of scriptures I use for myself that I quote to calm myself and when I'm feeling anxious. And so I started praying, and I heard clearly the name Sarah, and I heard Sarah Elizabeth is what I heard. And I didn't share it with anybody. I kept it close to my heart. I was like, okay, God, I'm trusting in you that, you're going to keep me. You're going to keep this baby, and whatever happens, happens, and I'm going to rest in you. But I kept hearing that name over and over in my heart. And I was like, okay, Sarah Elizabeth. So I went downstairs for breakfast, and one of my really close friends was down there. And I told her, I was like, I have to share with somebody, and I knew she'd get it, and she wouldn't, be like, okay, Lauren, yeah, you're hearing stuff. But I knew that she would support me, and I trusted her with that piece of my heart. And I shared with her, and she basically confirmed it. She had also felt that too, heard that name Sarah, and she didn't know what it meant. That meant so much to me. And I was like, okay, God, you're confirming that I heard this. So right after the retreat, we went back to check, and the sac the baby was in had grown to 7 weeks. The baby had not. There was not a heartbeat. The baby had not changed. And at that point, we knew that we had lost the baby. It was probably one of the hardest days because we were going through a lot at the time, and we had lost a lot during that year. And I've wrote about it on the blog. Josh had lost family members. They had passed away. We actually were without a car at the time. Both of our cars had broke down at the same time. And it was difficult. And I'm not going to go into detail about that appointment because I've shared it before. And the point of this video was to share about why I want to name the baby Sarah. And it's taken me 3 years of healing and processing and growing for me to be able to do this and share it. I've not shared this with anybody besides my friend and my husband. That losing Sarah was really hard. And I'm naming the baby Sarah because I felt like that's what God spoke to me. And if you know the story about Abraham and Sarah, God promised Abraham that he would give him a son. And he promised Abraham that his family would be as many as the stars in the sky, that he would take care of them. And he had promised Abraham, and he promised Sarah. And when I lost Sarah, when we had the miscarriage, and having a DNC was my worst nightmare. It was actually the one thing I never I mean, I just did not, my mind couldn't even wrap around going through something like that and being okay. And, so when I had to go through that, you know, I was holding on to the promises. I was holding on that God promised me He never leave me. I was holding on that He gives me peace, that surpasses any understanding here, on earth. And I was holding on that, you know, He gave me a miracle. He gave me Ethan, and He healed him. And even if He gave me no other children, biologically, that He would give me peace and strength to do what I needed to do, and walk in that, and walk in this path that He had laid out before me. And I was angry, and I'm not gonna lie, there was a lot of emotions. I didn't understand why I was having to go through this again. It caught me off guard. And I'm sharing all this to know, just so that, you know, if you're watching this, you're not alone. If you're struggling with infertility, you're not alone. It's a lonely road. It's embarrassing. There was a lot of shame that comes with it as a woman. I experienced shame. I didn't know what was wrong with my body. What did I do? Did I do something wrong to lose both of these babies? I wasn't taking care of myself, and better. You know, I had someone comment about that after I lost her. Well, now when you get pregnant next time, you really need to make sure you're taking healthier before you get pregnant. When someone loses like that, you have a loss. You lose a baby, you lose a child, you lose anything. There's a loss, there's grief. Be mindful of what you say. You know, I didn't need anyone to tell me that, that I have enough guilt without anyone saying anything like that. I was experiencing it at the time. But here we are 3 years later. God has healed my heart. I still grieve for my babies. I miss them. I'm thankful that I have Esther, and I'm thankful that I have Ethan, and missing my babies in heaven does not diminish my love or thankfulness for them. I still am allowed and give myself permission to grieve the babies that I lost. And you need to do that for yourself. If you're struggling and you've not grieved your baby, grieve, let it out, talk it out, write it out. I journaled a lot after losing Sarah. Hope, I experienced a lot of anger, and not understanding. And it was a really hard year after losing Hope. But losing Sarah was completely different. I was a different person. I was older, and I was already a parent here on earth. So I had experienced that love and the first and what was to come. And you lose that. You grieve dreams you had for a baby you didn't even get to hold. So October, like I said, is Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness. And October 15th is Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Day. So if you're local to where I'm at, my husband and I, Josh and I, are going to be at a park, and I'm going to post it on my personal Facebook, where we'll be. If you are watching this and you're not local to me, and we just know each other through Facebook or this blog, then you can message me or comment and let me know if you would like me to write your baby's name. Even, if you want just your last name, or you need to name your baby, if that's something you want to do, I'm going to get an extra balloon, and I'm going to write those names of the names that people tell me they want me to remember their baby, to release them. I'm going to go live. I think I'm going to go live on my Facebook, Aunt Lala's blog, on Facebook, and I'll post the link if you would like to come follow that page, so that you can see it, so that everybody can see and remember our babies with us. I don't like the stigma around grief. I don't like that people try to make you feel guilty if you're still grieving something when you're a Christian. God knows my heart. He knows I trust Him. He knows I love Him. I serve Him. He is number one in my life. And He has given me more peace and strength and healing. He's never leave me. He's never forsakes me. but I'm allowed to miss my babies. God gave us emotions. He created us with them. And I believe that it's a healthy thing to grieve, and I believe it's healthy to let it out. It's healthy to find your path, find your journey to be better in your grief and in loss, whatever it may be. If you're angry, say you're angry. God knows you're angry anyway. And if you're angry with him, tell him. He'll walk you through it. He'll help you through it. It's hard. Loss is hard. And I don't think God looks down on that. He loves you. He loves you. And he loves me, and he loves our babies. And I can't tell you why we have to walk the journeys that we walk, but I know we live in a fallen world, and it's not perfect. It's full of darkness and sin. And we're not going to know perfection and having no sadness until we get to heaven. So that's all I wanted to say. So we will be October 15th. I will be going live in the Facebook, Aunt Lala's blog Facebook. I'll be going live in there to video the balloon release. And like I said, I will write your baby's name on there. I believe it's for whatever reason, it's just something. The releasing the balloon is just something that has helped me in remembering, because I felt like people forget them, and because people move on and they go in their life, but you still feel like you're missing your child, because you are. And this is a way just to bring us all together who love each other, whether it's a family, because families suffer too when they watch someone they love lose something they love so much, and the dreams that they had. Like my parents, they're excited they were going to have another grandbaby, and to lose that, Josh's parents as well, to lose that, it was really difficult. It was really difficult. But God is so faithful, guys. He's so faithful, and I've only found healing and strength through him and his peace. So like I said, comment below. Let me know if I can pray with you. I'll be praying for you. I pray for women I know personally, and anyone I can come in contact with that's suffering from infertility and want a baby so bad. And if you either lost it or you've not been able to get pregnant, my heart breaks for you. I know both of those walks, and it's really hard. It's really hard. And so I love all of you, and I'm praying for you, and I hope that you guys can join me. Bye.